So, morning to one and all. This is Dr. Pranjute, and today in this lecture we will going to see about the magmatic evolution, how the magma has been evolved. In some previous lectures, we see about some igneous processes like from the ophiolite, how the magma is formed, how the your different kind of rocks like basalt and granite, what is the texture of the granite, what is the structure of the igneous rock, how it can be classified of volcanism and hyperbaser and with these terms. So now today we are going to see mostly about the abundant of what is the magnetic evolution of this one. So abundant of element, how the element in the earth has been classified. So you can have oxygen, silicon, aluminum, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, titanium, and nickel. So all this element is a part of whole earth also and crust also. But you can see that crust is having a more oxygen than the whole earth, having a more silicon than the whole earth. Okay, so and the earth, the average composition of earth having a more iron than the crust. So it directly suggests you that the crust mantle core itself having a different type of what we can say the composition. The whole earth is having a different kind of composition like your crust, mantle, and core. So crust is basically dominated with the silica and oxygen. Silica and oxygen is more dominated in the crust, whereas that 34% of iron coming from the mostly the core. Your core is having a what iron and your nickel and iron is the most part of this one. So what is the geochemistry of elements? So the major elements are those elements. When we call the major element to anyone, the major elements are those elements which having a percentage more than one. The major element is the element which having a percentage more than 1%. The minor element are those elements which having a percentage of 0.1 to 1%. A minor element is the element which having a percentage of 0.1 to 1% weight percent. Then you have a trace element. What is the trace element? A trace element is the element which having a percentage less than 0.1%. That is the Re, rare earth element, zircon, rubidium. So this all are the mostly measured in a ppm, parts per million. What is the full form of ppm? Parts per million. Either for a major and minor element, you use a what terminology you use for this one? It is in a weight percentage. It is in a weight percentage. Whereas trace element is mostly in a ppm. Okay, ppm means what is the part in a million year, parts per million year. So major element is controlled. The control of the mineralogy of the major element is control the crystallizing melting behavior of in igneous system. They also viscosity. They also control the viscosity, density, and diffusivity, etc. in magma. As you know that there is a major element means which is having a major role to control the mineralogy and crystallizing melting behavior in igneous system. So what is the effect or what is the effect of this yeah, major element? Major element means which cover the major part of the your composition of that magma. Then you have a minor element. Then you have a minor element which is a substitute for an element in a principal mineral. Means when the substituting are going on, you know that in mineralogy we substitute one another. So when the substituting are going on for an element in a principal mineral, they can form accessory mineral if they are in a sufficient amount. They can form a accessory mineral if they are in a sufficient amount. So the example for this is a zircon, apatite, rutile, or ilmenite. Zircon, apatite, rutile, or ilmenite is the example for the what we can say the for the mineral minor mineral. Then you have a trace elements. Then you have a trace elements. Trace elements cannot form a separate phase. Trace element cannot form a separate phase. They are so dilute. Trace element cannot form a separate phase. They are so dilute, and they strictly occur as a substitute for a major or minor element. They strictly occur as a substitute for a major or minor element. So, see, chromium is a minor element in ultramafic rock, but it is a trace element in the crustal rocks. Chromium is a minor element in a ultramafic rock, but it is a trace element in a crustal rocks. Iron is a only major element. Iron is the only major element that occur in a two oxidation state, that is Fe plus 3 of or a ferric iron and Fe plus 2 in a ferrous iron. So this is how your iron is controlled or iron is occurred. The titration is required to quantify both forms of iron. Titration is required to quantify both forms of iron. Otherwise, total iron is determined where all iron is converted mathematically to FeO or Fe2O3. Asterisk means all iron is converted to the FeO or Fe2O3 as the case may be. Element and igneous processes. Element and igneous processes. As a result of different role played by major, minor, and trace element, they provide a distinct insight into the various igneous processes. A major element is a classification of rock, study chemical evolution of melt during the crystallization or melting process. They are also used to study evolution of magma, but they are particularly effective as the tracer to constrain a magma source or to discriminate between some magmatic processes. Because different minerals selectively incorporate or exclude trace element with much greater selectivity than for a major element, trace elements are far more sensitive to igneous fractionation process. Origin and evolution of magma can be better constrained by using trace element than by major element. When the earth mantle is melted, trace element display a preference either for melt phase or a solid phase. When the earth mantle is melted, trace element display a preference either for a melt phase or a solid phase. Trace element whose preference is for the mineral phase are compatible with the trace element. Trace element whose preference is for the mineral phase are compatible with the trace element. Those elements which show the preference for melt are called the incompatible trace element. Those elements which show the preference for melt are called the incompatible trace element. So the incompatible elements are not compatible in a mineral structure and will leave at a first opportunity. So incompatible elements are also called as a hydro magmatophile element. So the illustration of compatibility and incompatibility is what the degree of compatibility, incompatibility of trace element vary in metals of different composition. The phosphorus is a incompatible element in metal mineralogy and during partial melting gets quickly concentrated in a melt. So this is what about the compatible and what is the mean by compatible and incompatible element. So trace element and igneous process. So trace element is very important for the igneous processes. You may about think that trace element is very important element don't have any concentration, they are very trace in a unit. But no, the trace element is also having a very much signature and very much important for the controlling the composition of magma and the process that occur in a igneous process. So the trace element are far more sensitive to igneous fractionation process. So when you have a fractionation process, the what trace element is very much of sensitive. So those goes on a melt, those remain without melt is a matter of study that what type of process is going on. So the what is the incompatible and what is the compatible? So when the earth mantle is melted, trace element display a preference either for a melt phase or for a solid phase. When the earth mantle is melted, trace element display a preference either for a melt phase or for a solid phase. Trace element whose preference is for a mineral phase are compatible trace element. The trace element whose preference is for the mineral phase are compatible trace element. Those elements which show the preference for a melt are called the incompatible trace element. The, then you have incompatible elements which are not compatible in a mineral structure and will leave at the first opportunity. Incompatible elements are also called as a hydro uh, magnetophile element. Incompatible element also called as a hydromagnetophile elements. So you have a illustration of compatibility and incompatibility. Illustration of compatibility and incompatibility. The degree of compatibility and incompatibility of trace element vary in melt of different composition. The phosphorus is an incompatible element in metal mineralogy, and during partial melting, it gets quickly concentrated in a melt. Then you have phosphorus is a compatible in a crustal rock like granite. Since it is accumulated in apatite, incompatible trace elements are of two types based on the ratio of valency to ionic radius. So HFSE and LILE. So this is a two different type of trace element on the basis of what on the basis of your trace element behavior we categorize this with these two. So what is the HFSE? High field strength element. High field strength element. So these are the smaller but highly charged, that is the Re, thorium, uranium, zircon, hafnium, titanium. So this is all are the small but very highly charged element, which is having a large ion lithophile element or low field strength element in the structure. These are larger but has a less charge. These are the larger but has a less charge, that is a potassium, rubidium, cesium, and your uh, barium and lead. So these all are the LILE. This is known as the LILE. LILE are more mobile compared to the HFSE. So you have a trace element which is having a igneous petrogenesis. You have a trace element which having a igneous petrogenesis. The element which is used to have a petrogenetic indicator, element which is having a petrogenetic indicator, that is a nickel, cobalt, chromium, which is used as a highly compatible element in olivine, spinel, and cyanopyroxene. High concentration indicate a mental source limited to fractionation. The high concentration indicate a mental source limited to the fractionation. Then you have a different kind of titanium element, which is compatible element, show a parallel behavior in melting and crystallization. They are useful indicator of fractionation of Fe and Ta, iron and titanium oxide. If they are if they show the divergent behavior, then titanium substitution into rutile or spinel indicated. Classic incompatible element do not substitute any major silicate phase, high content enriched sources. Incompatible elements substitute for a potassium biotite and potassium barium indicate role of these phases in a petrogenesis. The substitute for the calcium, the substitute for the calcium is in plagioclase. The substitute for the calcium in plagioclase. This is a spider diagram for the behavior of the different compatibility of the more, that is a mid oceanic ridge basalt and oceanic basalt. So this is a spider diagram. What is the partial melting and what is the application of these two trace element? Partial melting is a localization of present day volcanism show that earth mantle melt only partially. It means that required condition of mantle are available only locally accessible temperature in the earth are not sufficient to melt earth totally. Why earth mantle melt? The composition of melt depend on mineralogy and chemistry of the source, residual mineralogy, depth and degree of melting, type of melting process. So this is why what the mental when the mental is earth mental is made, what is the composition of this one is depending upon methodology, residual methodology, depth and degree of melting, and type of melting processes. Then you have origin of magma. You have origin of magma. So magma is highly debated topic. Origin of magma is a very highly debated topic. It generating magma from solid rock. It is generating magma from solid rock. What is the role of heat? Temperature increase in the upper crust. Temperature increase in the upper crust average between the 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius per kilometer. So what is the geothermal gradient? What is the geothermal gradient? The geothermal gradient is averaging between a geothermal gradient is nothing but when you have a increase in temperature for every kilometer. When you have an increase in temperature for every kilometer, that is known as your what we can say the uh, geothermal gradient. That is known as your geothermal gradient. The rocks in the lower crust and upper mantle are near their melting point. Any additional heat may induce melting. So you have a decompressional melting. What is a decompressional melting? So in this figure 4.20, you can see the increase in a confining pressure cause an increase in a rock melting temperature. When confining pressure drop, decompression melting occur. So due to the cooling pressure of the confining pressure from this one, you have a melting process. So why the earth mantle melt? Why there is the earth mantle is melt? So the volatile cause the rock to melt at a lower temperature. So volatile is volatile material that is primarily water cause rocks to melt at a lower temperature. Means if the temperature if the what we can say the uh, mineral or any material is 1000 degrees Celsius, if there is a addition of volatile there, what is the temperature can drop down maybe a 900 degrees Celsius. So different type of partial melting based on the observation on trace element composition of basalt. Different type of partial melting is based on the observation on trace element composition of basalt. Four type of partial melting process are known: batch melting or equilibrium melting or equilibrium fusion melting. After a certain fraction of melting, after a certain fraction of melting, the melt is extracted mechanically from solid phase to single batch. Chemical equilibrium is achieved between the solid and bulk composition of system remains unchanged. A fractional melting and relay melting is here small melt fraction are continuously completely extracted as the melting process. Only the large drop of the liquid is thought to be equilibrium with the residue. Then you have a continuous melting. So four type of melting are there: batch melting, fractional melting, continuous melting, dynamic partial. So these all four names suggest that what this melting is all about. So the batch melting is nothing but the a batch melting is in a batch. Fractional means in a small amount. Continuous means it don't stop, it continuously get melt. Dynamic in composition of melt produced by both batch melting and continuous melting of a chemically or homogeneous source. So in composition of melt produced by the this one. So type of meltings we have, different type of meltings we have. Then you have a diversification of magma. Igneous province, that is Prakasam, alkaline provenance, Andhra Pradesh, Deccan volcanic provenance, Malani igneous provenance may display a variety of range of rock type. Why do we have such a diverse magma? What are the reasons for diversification? Variation of diversification is of two types: primary variation and secondary variation. What is the primary variation? The magmas of different composition created at source, different source of each magma. That is known as the primary variation. Whereas secondary variation, different magma evolving from the single parents. So the primary variation means you can have a the source is on source from the source it is having a different type of magma, whereas in secondary variation the source is same but you have a then processes get diversify this magma. So partial melting is for primary variation. For many year variation of igneous rock were believed to be a secondary, but now it is realized much variation is primary. Here, magma is originated by partial melting in solid crust or mantle, and the main cause of primary variation are material being melted in a source region, degree of melting, condition under which melting is taking place, kimberlite, carbonite, cometite, lamprite is the closest rock type, etc. Volcanic glasses are best example of primary melt. Then you have a secondary variation. What the main our topic is secondary variation. That is a magmatic differentiation, contamination, and all zone of mixing and magma mixing. So what is the magmatic differentiation? Here an originally homogeneous magma changes its composition become heterogeneous. Different mechanism responsible are crystal fractionation, liquid immiscibility, liquid fractionation. So this is the three different kind of processes which we operated. So this is how your magma is get settled. First one is a gravitational settling. First one is a gravitational settling. Most common, most commonly involve a mechanism for crystal separation. Magmas are 10% lighter than their equivalent solidified rock at the same temperature. More mineral are very likely to sink that float in the crystallizing magma. The densities of the common rock forming mineral are less than 2.5 gram centimeter cube, 2.5 to 3.0 gram per centimeter cube, more than 3 gram per centimeter cube. So this is a three different type of densities of the magma which having a different kind of minerals. Both the case studies are well documented. Both the case studies are well documented. Sinking is the process when uh, your rhythmic layering or in layer gabbro complex or so this is all about how the separation is of going on. So this is a picture which suggests you that how the of how the different intrusion are there. This is a Skarsgård intrusion in Greenland. You can see the micro layer, micro scale layering. This is a Bushveld complex in South Africa. Is a very famous one for the geologists to study geology and especially the igneous and this all terrain. Then you have a separating mechanism for crystal fractionation. So the factor which deciding rate of settling apart from the density include size of crystal, viscosity of magma, degree of crystallization, degree of supercooling also play and role. The stroke law gives the rate of settling of crystal. The Stokes law gives the rate of settling of crystal, where v is a terminal velocity. V is the terminal velocity of solid sphere of radius. Gravitational acceleration, there is a g. ds is equal to density of solid. dl is equal to density of liquid. You have a settling rate of crystal from basic magma of density to 2.5 gram centimeter cube and viscosity of 3000 poises. So the separation mechanism for crystal fractionation, flow differentiation is the second one. Flow differentiation. If the fluid with suspended particle flow through the conduct, particle tend to migrate to region of high velocity flow that is away from the walls. The flow of blood through the blood vessels experimentally proved to be Bhattacharjee, that is in 1967. This is a flow differentiation when applied to magmas. A flow differentiation can produce enrichment of heavy crystal, that is a olivine or lighter crystal in the center of dike, or a seal depending on what phenocrysts were present at the time of infusion or crystallized during the period of flow. And for example, a picrite seeds of a sky uh, olivine at center rather than at base as might be expected in a gravitational setting. So separating mechanism for this one is given by the Irving, which apply in all terms. So this is a differentiation of the magma after the coming to the core. How the magma is get differentiate in a other way. Then you have a cumulate texture, which we can observe, which is a big crystal separated from magma, a glassy ground mass, which represent the composition of lead over liquid, layered intrusion. So this is all are the of fractionation of the. This is a remote sensing imagery of great dike. This is a remote sensing imagery of great dike. You can see that the scale of this. So this is the dike which is present in the this Zimbabwe area. You have a cumulate texture, layered igneous rock, cumulate texture which is formed layered igneous rock, mineral in a liquid. You have accumulated mineral in liquid, which is known as the which is known as the cumulate, which is known as the orthocumulate. So the development of cumulate texture crystal accumulate by the crystal settling or simply form in a place near the margin of the magma chamber. In this case, plagioclase crystal accumulate in a mutual contact and in a intercumulus liquid. Here is the interstices. So the orthocumulates is the intercumulate liquid crystallized to form a additional plagioclase ring, but plus other phases in the interstitial volume of this one. Now this is a cumulate texture. This is a cumulate texture which we have. Now what is the liquid immiscibility? What is the liquid immiscibility? A separation of originally homogenized liquid into the two coexistent fraction. A separation of originally homogenized liquid into the two coexistent fraction is compositions of this one is oxygen fugacity, temperature, pressure influence, and different kind of this one. So this is what you have a different type of liquid immiscibility, which is having a silicate immiscibility found in a number of rock which is contain one silicate composition in a matrix of other silicate composition. So you have immiscibility means which is not separation of originally homogenized liquid into two coexisting textures, that is known as immiscibility. So this is your immiscibility of lamprey. Then you have a liquid fractionation. Then you have a liquid fractionation. Fractionation is there is a there is no immiscibility is no immiscibility is involved. No immiscibility is involved for this one, and it is the effect this phenomena. In the effect of this phenomena, it is called a sort effect. It is called as a sort effect. Then you have contamination of assimilation, contamination and assimilation. So what is the contamination and assimilation is all about? As magma may react with the and or incorporate material from its wall rock, it's a final product. Its rock is differing in the composition from the original magma. Two type of contamination are present. That is assimilation by melting, assimilation without melting. So this is the two different type of melting surface. This is the crustal xenolith in a kimberlite. This is the crustal xenolith in a kimberlite. Third one is the zone melting or zone refining. Zone melting or zone refining. A body of magma changes composition by the simultaneously crystallizing its coolest part while melting its wall rock elsewhere. Imagine a body of magma in mantle. Imagine a body of magma in mantle crystallizing from the bottom upward while at the same time melting overlying solid rock. With time, the body of melt progress slowly upward the mantle, changing gradually the composition. So this is a zone of melting and what different kind of things are there. Fourth one is the mixing of magma. How the magma is mixed together. So two or more magma become mixed to give a various intermediate product. When two type of there a mixing of similar magmas that is known as the MOR, mixing of dissimilar magma, mixing of similar magma and mixing of dissimilar magma. So mixing of similar magma is giving you the more mid-oceanic ridge basalt. Mixing of dissimilar magma seen especially in a volcano that is located in an island and volcano basalt rhyolite. This is all. Then you have assimilation of magma mixing and magmatic differentiation. So you can have what we learn in this all this one the a differentiation. How the when the magma is coming up to the surface, when magma is coming from the below the surface to the surface, what kind of different processes, what kind of different processes is involved for differentiation of this magma, or differentiation of this magma. This is all about what we can say that this is all about a different basically this magma is nothing but what we can say is when it is coming up on the surface. When it is coming on the surface, it is having a certain rule of certain rules of the composition and all. Okay, so this is known as the a different kind of dissimulation, and what the different kind of processes are there. So this is all about the magmatic differentiation, how the magma is differentiated on the basis of the this one. So whatever the study research is going on, they are also study that behavior of the magma, how magma is inside, how magma behave inside this one, and what kind of things is responsible for different processes like high viscous magma is formed by which process, low viscous magma is formed by which process and all. So this is how you can have a different kind of magma and different kind of processes for the magma generation. Okay, so you have this all the what we can say that the major element, minor element, and trace element. So major, minor, and trace element is a nothing but the on the basis of temperature. Sorry, in the depending upon the their what percentage major element are those element which is more than 1%. The major element of the whenever we study the major element are those element which is having a more than 1%. Minor element is between the point 1 to 1.0. So this one is you take a note on this one, and always you can have consider as or what we study, whatever the mineralogy or geochemistry and all, they are always called as what is the major element, what is the minor element, what is the trace element. So major element, minor element, and trace element, three different kind of elements are there. So more than 1%, 0.1 to 1, and less than 1%. So that is the three different kind of elements we have, and this one is specifically uh, depend upon the what your percentage basically. So trace element can also measure in a is also used to say a ppm that process. So this is all about the process, magmatic processes, and how the all the rocks has been formed by the different processes. When the magma get erupted to the surface, there is a different process which form a different kind of rock. The viscosity is depending upon the composition of major element, and again the viscosity is what we can say. The viscosity is also more responsible for the what kind of structure formed by the magma, whether it is a Aho lava, whether it is a Baho lava structure. So this is all about the volcanic magmatism, how the volcanic magmatism has been take place, and you can study this volcanic magmatism, how the volcanism is occurred. You can visit uh, you can visit to the any volcanic means you can see the volcanic chamber, how the volcanic magma is uh, get erupted from the surface. So it is also having a, we can say the of more magma. When the magma is get erupted, it also having a some of the what we can say the ash is also present there. Ash is also present there when the magma is get erupted. When magma is get erupted, you have a more ash in the this one. So I will show you just how the magma is get uh, erupted. Now I think you can able to see the how the this for this present video you are going to visualize this thing in a better way. You can see that this is a igneous intrusion site where you have uh, this is nothing but a magma. You can see that this is nothing but a magma where you have a process of cooling already has been started already, and it is having a what we can say the a different kind of composition. So depending upon the composition, their viscosity is there. So if there is a composition of more the SI unit, the viscosity is more lighter, so it can flow easily. It can flow easily. So that is known as the that volcanism is mostly depend upon the volcanic speed is mostly depend upon the density of the viscosity of the magma. Viscosity of the magma. So you can see that uh, this is the magma. You can see that the magma is coming up, and it also get cooled down and form a different kind of rocks. Form a different type of rocks or different kind of what we can say the uh, a structure, a magnetic structure also form. Different type of magnetic structure is formed by this. So I hope you can now able to imagine the how the magma is coming up and how this one is get solidify and get crystallized on the surface. So you can have a ash, very much ash in the your in this scenario. You have a more ash and all. So this is all about the magma and its differentiation and all. How the magmas get differentiation, how we study, why we study the magma and all. So thank you for listening this lecture. I hope you understand some concept about this uh, magma, what magma is all about, how the differentiation is going on and all. So thank you very much. If you have 12 question in your LMS, you can go and sort it out at 20 question. Thank you all for the joining this lecture and listening to us.